All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Skeptalk Live, episode number 61. That is one more than we had last time. I'm your host, Udo, and joining me tonight are two new guests, one old guest, all good friends of mine. So first, we're going to start off with Ramo. How you doing, my friend? Oh,
I'm
shit.
good, man.
Distended Coma coming in with a 6-month resubscription.
That's madness.
Yeah.
That's madness.
Half a damned year. That is really awesome. Well, thank you very much.
I mean, I'm at 7 months, but whatever.
I think I'm at like 2 weeks because I finally figured
no big deal, right?
NBD.
Exactly. All right, Ramo, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here finally.
Yeah.
I've been watching for a while.
Yeah.
And, stoked to be at it.
Long time chat lurker, talker.
Yeah, exactly.
Now everybody gets to hear what you're talking about. Distended Coma
See
says
my
fuck
face.
off, Wes, which,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows so well.
All right, and Practical Surrealist, how are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. I'm just getting stuff ready.
Yeah, I know. It's hard in the Sakura cherry blossom fields to, get the tech to work.
It's so good here.
All right, and Wes, what 2 weeks? There are two episodes in a row. I think it's a record for you.
Fuck, finally, dude. I mean, you guys like anointed me as like the fourth standard person, and then I'm like, and I'm gone for 6 months. Like later.
We were discussing it earlier. We were thinking it was possible that you saw the lineup for tonight, and we're all like, oh, I got to be on this shit.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I figured.
I was like, hey, okay.
You're not going to pass this up.
Oh, did I mess up the name tags again? I did mess up the name tags again.
Wes is Ramo, too. Yeah.
Oh, I'm a bitch. Ramo.
Wow.
No, yeah.
Tell us how you feel.
Yeah. That was aggressive. Man.
Excellent. All right.
No, it's about par for course, I feel like.
LaFix. Oh, also Practical Surrealist's name frame is just way out of shape. What the hell's going on with my setup here, man?
A line to the right, hard there.
Right, exactly. El Fixto. All right.
Nice.
Am I the only one that sees Udo's chat bubble on Practical Surrealist camera? Is that just me?
Yeah, it's probably just you.
Nice.
All right. Well,
Actually, might be just on my.
Yep.
Never mind. That's just on my.
It's just
awesome.
You should really clear that, man.
That's what you get for being the guy who comes on the podcast using his phone, right? Like,
we're talking about high-grade equipment here.
Right, exactly. Everybody else at least has their phone wired to their camera, or wired to their fucking computer. Angry Cicada says, I have a good feeling about this episode. Yep. Yeah.
Well, should have many good feeling.
Exactly. Today we're going to cover a lot of the stuff that we didn't get to last episode, but we've got a bunch of new stuff. So shout out to a couple of people who followed here. Steph Box and Audio Kraz, thank you very much and Nerd Cave Show, thank you very much for following. Yeah, we're gonna get into the episode here. So first, this is a fair use show. What we're doing here is commentary, parody, news reporting, and research sometimes. That usually happens before the show, right?
When appropriate.
Right. But criticism, parody, and commentary are very important to the way that the world works. And if we can't make fun of the stupid shit that happens in the world, we are never going to learn anything. So...
honestly, if you don't like it, don't be a dick, just leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck off.
If you want to help out the show, you can do what Distended Coma did there and subscribe. That helps out, get some more better, stuff for the show, little clips and intros.
More
and
better.
Stuff. Yeah, exactly. But if you don't want to take any time or take any money and throw it our way, which you don't have to, just hit this button here, and that will pre-format a Twitter tweet for you to send out to everybody that is on your Twitter followers list, and it'll just let them know that you're watching our show right now, and maybe they'll come watch with. All right, into the news of the world.
This shit is so regal.
Yeah, I wish there was like
Sets me up. Like I'm pumped now.
Exactly. It looks good too. Like the guy that I paid
Yeah.
$5 to make that, he did a good job.
God damn it.
All right, our first story is called Wacky Sake. So Japanese brewers have recently discovered through market research and a couple of different other things that the culture of working adults is changing in Japan. It turns out that the domestic segment is becoming more important to beer makers, and Japan's famously aging population, the oldest in the world, drinks a lot less now. For some reason, the culture has changed so that they drink a lot less. So the brewers in Japan have figured it out. They're beginning to recoup their sales losses by making all of the drinks stronger.
that definitely seems like the way to solve the problem.
Yep. So they're now releasing canned alcohol drinks with up to 9% alcohol by volume. That's stuff that we've got over here, but that's not very popular over there. Only now it is. In an attempt to get Japanese drinkers drunk faster, so that they will drink more often.
Is it those cans are 9%? Is that what we're seeing there?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just labeled strong. That's what.
Well, they're not wrong.
Yeah. The brewers are promoting the ready-to-drink segment in Japan, looking for ways to expand sales and demographic changes as the trend of consumers diversifying their drinking habits has led to domestic beer consumption falling to 2 years in a row, right? So, yeah. It's because the consumers are getting more value for their money. They get drunk without spending too much, and that's becoming a bigger appeal, right? So people who were giving up on alcohol because they'd have to buy 30 cans to get absolutely crunk are coming back.
I mean, it makes sense.
Exactly.
Like near beer.
What is like the further Americanization of all the other countries in the world?
Right, exactly. Soon they too will drive the rascal scooters.
God damn it.
The largest aging population, I think it is.
Apparently it's Squabbly's Feels birthday, man.
Oh, nice.
Happy birthday, Squabbly.
Happy birthday, Squabbly.
Happy birthday.
Exactly.
I feel like we should be touched that you're here on the evening of your birthday, but I also feel like you should be like doing something important.
That's it's a good point, right?
Yeah. No hate though. Thank you for joining us.
Right, exactly. So executives are saying that there is a desire among some drinkers to get more bang from their buck when imbibing, and as a result, high alcohol segment is growing almost twice as fast as the ready-to-drink canned mixed alcohol business overall. So Japan is getting into our Four Loko phase. So back when everything was like 12% in a giant can and tasted like rotten fruit, but you would quickly get enough of your powers to be able to make bad decisions, right?
God damn it.
I had a friend a while back that would do 2 Four Loko night, and the whole thing was just you're going to try to drink 2 Four Loko and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like hurts my insides.
I back when it was the original Four Loko, there was a night where a buddy was doing a rock band night, right? And I pounded 2 watermelon Four Lokos and then had a seat on his couch. And within 5 minutes, I was sitting there while everyone's playing the game, feeling like I'm traveling at like 1,000 miles an hour, sitting on the couch, not moving, right? Like, I was going very fast, but I was not moving.
God damn it.
Resin Cheers says, "You watermelon." Hey, it doesn't matter when you start drinking that much of that bad stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Angry Cicada is trying to remind me of the time we chased absinthe with Four Loko. We don't talk about that.
Oh no!
We don't speak.
Don't do that.
Unspeakable things occurred.
Exactly. All right. So this next story here, the image, it'll make a lot more sense as I start to read the first couple sentences. So
I don't want it to.
For all the fanfare leading up to the June 2nd attempt to break the world's biggest orgy record, the main city of Sin City didn't quite attract the expected amount of participants. So, this last weekend, there was an attempt to break the world's largest orgy record.
I think I heard about that.
Right. Over 1,000 people registered for the orgy. Now, if it's just that easy, I'm not sure that...
That's not an orgy you want to be on.
Yeah, that might be what chased some of these people away, right?
Fill out an online form and just like show up for the orgy.
Again.
We've all hosted Facebook events. Look how many maybes you get. You know those are no's. You know what those are really.
They just don't want you to feel bad.
You know.
God damn it.
Over 1,000 people registered, but only 375 of them made it to the Green Door Sex Club on Saturday to break the record.
Well, who's the odd man out? That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get
375? Like,
excluded.
do an orgy alone.
You're not, you're not allowed in the party.
Exactly. Damn it, Steve. But they needed 500 to break the record. So they were 125 people off of what they needed to even try and break the record, right? They said that they were quoted by saying, "We didn't beat the world record, but we were still able to host an amazing event considering the circumstances our team had to overcome." Which means they still went. They still...
Damn.
It means that it still happened, right? So it was like a...
Are we not using phrasing anymore? Overcome? Man, come on, guys.
Yep.
Not even trying.
So it was like a sadness pity orgy.
God, yeah, like a super. They just had a super underwhelming giant orgy instead of like the record-breaking one they wanted.
Welcome
You said
to the
how many
show,
people? 375
yeah,
people?
375 people, but they needed 500. 125 people short. I don't even think Craigslist could fill that gap.
That's still a lot of junk juice, man.
Right.
It turns out they did, however, set the world's largest circle jerk at 375 because only guys showed up.
Right.
Exactly. So those circumstances involved there was two venue changes they had to go with, right? This is part of the reason that they're saying why 1,000 people didn't show up to their big chance to break the orgy world record.
You could have been a part of history, bros.
They had two venue changes, one from a host hotel Embassy Suites to the Erotic Heritage Museum, and then Stephen Colbert riffed on the news for the record, and it caused the operator to be a little bit upset about what was going on because they were getting negative pressure. So then they had to find a place, and they found the Green Door, which was willing to take the event. Despite previously implying that the annual Weekender may not take place in Las Vegas next year, apparently they're going to try it again, right? Next year. It's now planned for May 29th through June. That's 3 days. They need 3 days to break this record.
You gotta warm up. You can't go into a 1,000-person orgy
you can't
without
just
them warming
throw
up.
1,000 people into a room and say let's fuck.
Right.
You gotta
shake some hands first.
I mean,
a couple high fives in there.
And if people are wondering why the Minecraft sheep, this is the safest orgy picture I could find for Twitch.
Your search history's just got to be bonkers, man. Twitch safe orgy pics.
Right?
God damn it.
This Tacoma says shake some dicks. Right. All right.
I mean, whatever you're into, I guess. Just in a coma, you know. Don't yuck your yum.
I didn't know where to go with that one. I was like,
Yeah, sure, whatever. Fucking weirdo.
All right. So our next story is about Idaho. Resident Hero says Stephen Colbert rips on debauchery like it's the leper ripping on the ugly clothes convention. Gotcha. All right. What this Comus is shaking dingles, obviously. So a boy in Idaho is recovering after contracting the Black Plague.
Oh, cool.
Jesus.
Right.
Oh, I heard about this too. Yeah.
Exactly. This is now the first human case in the state in more than 2 decades, health officials say.
God damn it. This is why Idaho's just the worst. God damn it.
I feel like Wyoming is significantly worse
Okay.
in terms of like northern.
No more potatoes for at least a week.
Exactly.
Do you want a potato famine? This is how we get a potato famine.
Exactly.
Goddamn Idaho.
We don't have all the Idaho potato
Oh my God.
slaves
It's a
working.
plague-tato.
Plague-tato.
Damn it.
All right. I don't know Idaho well enough to actually like make any inside jokes about Idaho. I only know the 2 things, which is
No one knows about Idaho
was
enough to
gonna
make
say,
inside jokes.
I
That's how
grew
much
up
Idaho
there,
sucks.
and I don't really have anything to say about it. I mean, like what? Like
Awful. There's literally nothing good about it.
I only
Except
know
Alex
the,
Ruff.
I only know the 2 things that everyone
Thanks.
knows about Idaho, which is 1, there's nothing interesting there, and 2, that we don't know, you know, and that potatoes are there eventually at some point.
I mean,
right?
it's a pretty place. I'll give it that. Like southern Idaho is like really like very farmland, potato farms. It's all mountainous and shit up north. It's like mining and logging up there. I don't know. It's a pretty place. It's nothing special to write home about.
Isn't northern Idaho like extremely racist? Like that's what it's known for?
Yeah. So the back when I was going to high school over in Hayden Lake, so like I don't know, 40 minutes from where I grew up, there was the Aryan Nations headquarters of the U.S. was there, like
Wow.
40 minutes away from where I grew up. Yeah.
Damn.
And I wouldn't say it's like
See?
it wasn't extremely prevalent, but that's where all the super racist dudes lived, was over in Hayden Lake, like around that compound. They like congregated around it. So I don't know. There was some bleed over, but it's not as bad as you think it would be, just because it's there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it was still there.
They're even not that bad of guys. You just, be white.
No,
when you
fuck
talk.
those guys. But
Far
Be a
Cry
white
6
around
to
it,
the
we're
wilds
fine.
of Idaho.
exactly. No, to be perfectly honest, that shit felt like home. It was weird. Like playing Far Cry 5 was very to like real life.
Wow. Yeah, I grew up in Montana. I would visit there quite often because I have lots of family there, and the visuals were spot on, right?
Oh yeah,
But I just don't remember any of those cults, right?
exactly. Oh, they were there.
Think back.
Yeah.
Think back.
Right. So there's not much more to this story. The article goes on to explain what the hell the Black Plague is, and I'm pretty sure we all know that. But Idaho is now where patient 0 is. So
Excellent.
yeah.
So that kid was banging rats and got the plague. Good to know.
Yeah. It also goes on to detail how you shouldn't leave food outside, like, unattended, where rats will just eat it and multiply. Which makes a bunch of sense, right?
Nope. That's all I do.
Just
Store
piles of meat.
containers of food outside.
Right.
Is that wrong? Am I doing anything?
No, that's totally right.
Yeah, what's wrong with piles of meat? I love piles
You're
of
going to
meat.
turn us into the next Idaho, dude.
Woo!
No, because we may get the plague, but it'll still be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be Plague Town, USA. Because apparently we're everything USA.
Right, exactly. All right. So if someone was to invite you to the world's largest orgy, what would be the best way to get that invitation? We'll start with Ramo.
Wow.
You don't have to say you'd be willing to go, but what would be the best
Oh, of course
way
not, yeah.
for someone to have given you that invitation?
Oh, I think like somebody really awkward giving it to you, like your father-in-law or something. Just like, hey, I'm doing this thing next weekend.
we should
There's
bond.
going to be a lot of people, so like, we
Oh
can
God.
we could kind of be close, but like just far enough away so it's not weird or anything.
Right, exactly. We'll stay within stay within voice reach. Right, like
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me your safety words so that we're okay. I don't know. I feel, personally, that's what
Safety
jumps up
words,
for
Daddy.
I feel like
I'll
odd
be,
places for orgies to come up is definitely the best.
I'll be wearing the giant banana suit.
Yeah, totally.
Wes, what do you got?
I would hope, if it depends on the person asking, obviously, but I think like a giant like promposal style like invitation where like a flash mob appears and then the lights cut out and the guy's just wearing a shirt that's like in the dark but it's glow in the dark that's, or whoever's like, do you want to orgy with me? And be like, dude, we're making the trip. And I'm like, I knew you were fucking weird. Can't hang out with you anymore.
Waiting outside
Yeah,
your
definitely
window.
promposal.
Waiting outside your window, holding the stereo above their head.
Yeah, just yeah, but just hard, like go big, flash mob, like fucking promposal style. Just let's orgy, bro.
Distended Coma says that you got an Eiffel Tower a lady
Yeah.
with their stepdad.
He gets it.
Waffle
Yeah.
H.
That bitch.
All right, Practical Surrealist. What do you think would be the best way to be invited to the world's largest orgy?
The golden condom.
Yeah, dude, I was
What?
thinking the same thing. I was like, I got a golden ticket,
Condom.
and I don't fucking
I've got a
want
golden
it.
condom.
Exactly.
What is this for?
You open up a candy bar, it's all like, it's time to go.
Yeah, you don't find it in a condom. You just find it in a candy bar.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
Oh God. What is that?
Why is so?
Why? Why?
I want it. I don't want to.
I didn't get a cream-filled candy.
You had to go there. You had to get all gross, dude.
God.
Yes, I had to.
All right. So, similar to one of our last stories a couple of episodes ago, police have handed over a man's body that was found in a river about a year ago to what turns out to be the wrong family after the woman and her relatives mistakenly identified the body as their missing kin, the Tokyo police have revealed. Last time it was India, right? And they had a guy who was straight like mob style killed on a bridge. And they found a body, gave it to this guy's wife. She identified it as him. Blaze Black Sheep, 7 months in a row. Damn, amazing. Thank you very much for that 7 months.
Damn.
It's been awesome to have you for over half a year. Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the body here, right? This new one, the mix-up has surfaced after the missing man returned home earlier this month.
How fucked up
Glory
is
be.
that? Gave grandma a heart attack.
Exactly. He comes home to find out he's been dead for a year. Like, also, who did you bury in my grave?
I feel like if I could,
I told you where I would be. What the fuck?
Did you not?
You
try to
just
kill me?
stole my stuff.
if they thought I was dead, if I had been dead for a year, I feel like I would have slowly backed out of the room making ghost noises. I can disappear.
Just pick up a
I'm
glass,
actually a
shatter it
ghost.
against the wall.
Yeah.
No one else can see me, and just run off.
That's the perfect way to start it. Yeah.
Afterwards, after the mix-up, the Metropolitan Police Department was able to identify the other body and apologize to the deceased man's relatives for the mistake. An official was apologetic about the mix-up and said, the incident was extremely regrettable. We're determined to prevent a reoccurrence of this, they said, which makes sense, right? You don't want this to happen.
I mean, whatever.
Start a new life. It's not a bad idea.
According to the MPD, the body was found in the Idaho River, and investigators at the Force's Kamari Police Department that handled the case confirmed that the man had drowned. No articles showing his identity were found. They examined the missing person reports submitted to the police station under its jurisdiction and suspected the body might be a man in his 40s. After the wife of the Matsudo man had two of their relatives examine the body and claimed it was their kin, the police then handed over the body. However, the missing husband suddenly came home early in May. The MPD subsequently found that a missing persons report on a Tokyo man in his 30s had been submitted to the force the day the body was found, and confirmed that the body was the man that was missing based on fingerprint evidence, which they didn't seem to.
Weird. That's a thing.
Else. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I want to know a little more about the missing husband that was gone forever. And they're like, "Yep, he's dead."
Exactly, which
Just
was the
dead.
biggest part of this fucking article that is missing. It does not say where he was.
Surprise.
So this guy totally just fucking left his wife for a year and then came back.
Well,
Damn.
What about like if you come home and all of a sudden your family's dead because they killed themselves because they're Japanese and they had to like, oh, if he died and maybe I don't know, I'm Japanese, I can say these jokes.
Goma's got the same question saying, where the fuck was the guy for a year? But yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, definitely. Seems like it might be easier to fake my own death than I thought. All I gotta do is just get someone else who's roughly my age and caliber to die as well. So
Yeah, and just have your family go, "Yeah, that's him."
yep, that's that guy.
Nah, whoever identified that
Dude,
body
I
just like
bet
wanted
at
him
that point
dead.
the wife knew the husband was still alive, but she like wanted the divorce, but didn't want to lose
Yeah.
anything on it. She's just like, "Yeah, he's dead. That's him. Let's go.
Fine.
Give me all
Don't
his
worry about
shit."
it. Don't worry about it.
He's
Yeah,
like,
just
I
don't
gotta,
look too much further.
I'm gonna go to work, or I'm going to this place for a year. I'll be back. And she's like, no, you can't. And he's like, well, I'm doing it anyway. And she's like, all right, I'll show you, buddy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Missing
she's
persons
actually
report.
the guy. She found that guy, threw him in the river, drowned him. She
God
fucking
damn it.
totally orchestrated this whole thing.
Claimed his body and then was able to do whatever. And then she got the kitchen remodeled because now no one can say
Right.
better.
Nailed it.
They told me
All
you
for
were
those
dead.
fucking,
Yep.
all for that bay window, sucker.
All right. So our next story is another one of these crazy flights gone wrong stories. Yeah, like the one where the guy was farting and wouldn't stop and they started fighting, or the one where the guys just smelled real bad and they started fighting. And this one,
Fart one's my favorite.
this
I
one
do
is
like the part one.
it's more the airline's fault from what I'm gathering. So a passenger flying Tiger Air in Australia between Sydney and Melbourne had blasted the airline on the internet for having what they described as the flight from hell. Police were called in to deal with unruly flyers, and a customer then urinated near the departure gate after one of the budget carrier's flights was delayed for 6 hours. The flight TT263 on June 8th was due to depart at 5:25 p.m., but it didn't leave until 11:26 p.m., resulting in a 12:35 arrival into Melbourne. The passenger, who did not wish to be named, said that the delay left some of the flyers angry and aggressive. Police were called as when people started throwing rubbish and yelling. They were just they were yelling, just tell us what's going on so we can get another flight. One guy said that he missed a meeting, which cost him about $30,000.
Jeez.
Someone then began urinating on the floor because Sydney Airport was closed and the bathrooms were being cleaned. The airport is usually closed from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. due to government-imposed curfew, but the Daily Mail understands that the toilets were serviceable at the time. But, I mean, they probably had the little, sign that says, we're cleaning, go away type of thing.
Yeah, fuck off.
Another passenger on the flight...
Pee.
Right, exactly. Another passenger on the flight posted the Tiger Air Australia Facebook page saying that the departure time was constantly being pushed back and described the delay as a disaster. So, these guys, I mean, have you guys ever had a flight delay?
Yeah,
Not that
it
bad.
happens.
Right.
Yeah, not that bad. I've had a 4-hour delay.
I
Right.
don't
That
think I've ever
sucked.
had anything over like an hour, maybe.
Yeah, I had a 4-hour delay coming back from Chicago, and it was due to a systems error in like the kitchen portion, like the tiny little kitchen.
Right.
Like it was flooding, like the tiny ass kitchen. It's like, yeah, I think I'm cool with not getting on a plane that's flooding somehow before we take off. So
Exactly. This airplane is taking on water. That's something you never want to hear.
midair, like what? So,
I mean, I definitely saw a flight get moved 12 hours back, but they told everyone it's going to be 12 hours before this flight is moved back or happening because they got the one that was coming got grounded because of snow or something somewhere else. But I've never been on a plane and then had it delayed for 6 hours, which would be super insane. Which is the other question that I have. So this guy who peed in the fucking terminal, right? There's no way he couldn't have just peed on the plane. Like he could have just gone back into the plane and peed.
no,
Yeah,
I
but
think
when
that's
you
the whole
gotta go,
thing.
man, you
Like they
gotta
were
go.
they were delayed. They couldn't get onto the plane, right?
Okay.
They're stuck in the terminal.
No, that makes sense. I was thinking they were all sitting on the plane for 6
No,
hours.
they're all waiting for the plane. Yeah, that means they're stuck in the airport. Hence, the airport bathrooms all being closed for maintenance.
This is like the IBS dude, man. This dude just wanted to piss on the floor.
Please,
And he said,
please let me pee.
I just couldn't hold it. And the floor was there,
Yeah,
and I'm here.
Yep. It was.
you're
it was
just lucky
it's
I
time.
didn't have to shit because I would have done that as well.
All right.
I
So,
would've did.
so keep that in mind. This story in mind for a question later. While we discuss becoming the taco,
Can I become the taco?
you can definitely, and here's how.
We can
So
provide that.
Reddit user Incredibly Shinshart said that he is sharing this story after an exchange that changed his views on cannibalism. Yeah, Incredibly Shinshart is pretty great name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said that he was in a motorcycle accident 2 years ago that resulted in a gruesome compound fracture in his left foot. It was so bad that he was never going to be able to walk on it again. So he elected to have his foot amputated. But what happened next is freaking a couple people out. He asked the doctors if he could keep it. And he signed some paperwork, and then he eventually got the foot. Then
Did he eat his own fucking foot?
Yeah.
I want to have he's eating his own foot
exactly.
so bad.
With the help of some of his friends, they cooked a portion of the tibialis anterior.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But
what,
I mean, why did he need his friend's help to cook his foot?
Because
Well,
he's not good at cooking.
Nerd
You can't do that
Show,
shit
welcome
alone.
to the show. He invited 10 of his most open-minded friends to a special meal 3 weeks after the accident. The meal
Surprise,
consisted
bitch.
exactly. Well, the meal consisted of surprise strudel, quiche puff pastries, fruit tarts, and chocolate cake. They drank gin and lemonade punches and mimosas, but the main course was fajita tacos made out of his own severed foot. When he asked how it tasted, he replied, this particular cut was super beefy. It had a very pronounced beefy flavor to it. The muscle I cut was tough and chewy. It tasted good.
It had a very
God.
distinct human flavor.
No,
That's human flavoring. That's not beefy. That's like, I'm
That's
sorry,
so
you
good.
Yeah.
misspoke.
From what it sounds like, everybody was in on it, right? All the people who sat around eating these people tacos, they were all aware that it was
Fajitas.
that it was exactly fajita people tacos.
Human vaginas.
Exactly.
Foot
There-
potato.
If you guys look at the article for this, which eventually you can find in the description for this episode, there are pictures of the amputation, the amputated foot, and the tacos. But I figured I couldn't show any of those on Twitch, so I found a taco.
Nice.
Ayo.
Disease says
I
Taco
feel
Bell
like-
foot in the mouth. Right, exactly.
Right. Oh, God.
Uh,
I feel like Mexican is definitely the direction I would go if I was ever gonna eat human.
right.
You know.
I would go
I don't know.
stir fry. I would definitely stir fry.
I don't.
Right?
Stir-
Back me
stir
up
fry.
on
I
this,
can do stir
Beach.
fry, yeah.
See?
More like a donburi,
There's
like
some
a rice
bell
bowl.
peppers in there.
I don't know.
Dude.
Chili powder and cumin, I think, would go way better with you.
You could make a shepherd's pie
Some
out of a
human
literal
human pie.
shepherd.
Then, right?
Right. So a lot of users were drawn on this, on what side of the line they fell. One user simply wrote "OMG." Another said, "I wish I could have unread this." He the guy.
Well, you can't.
Exactly.
You can't just walk away, asshole,
Exactly.
idiot.
Shinshart says it has a stigma. It's associated with cultures that aren't perceived as civilized or situations where people are forced into it to survive. They see it as barbaric, so they wonder if they could go out and do it on a whim, right? But people eat the placenta after a child is born, and that's cannibalism. I don't see any way around that. He was also
Yeah,
quote,
my cuticles.
yeah, dude. People eat all sorts of finger parts all day long. People chewing on toenails and fingernails and weird shit.
You know that happens.
He said that I think you can be ethically a cannibal under certain situations. I don't have some hunger to go hunt people down and gnaw off their faces now. This was one experience where I had the chance to do something unique in a healthy and ethical manner, and I did it, and it was fun and cool and a great story. And technically what he did was not illegal because he didn't sell the body part.
Damn.
If you were to go open up a "this is my foot" taco stand, you could get in trouble. But he gave it to people with and he also didn't give it to people without their consent, and he also gave consent for people to eat the foot. So lucky bastard, dude. If I had the chance, I'd eat
Yeah,
one of those
that's
tacos
crazy.
like right now. I would eat it.
Yeah, I
right
totally
now.
would, too.
Stream.
Now, come on. You can't just be like, I'm going to eat people for one time. Like, it's not a one-time thing. You
It
either
is.
eat people or you don't. Like, you know, this is how Ted Bundy starts, you know. It's like, Jeffrey Dahmer's like, I'm just going to try one foot taco, and that's it. I promise. And
Can't
then
you
it's
just
like
be
one
cannibal
more.
curious? I mean, like,
No. You
I
go
just wanna
skiing
know.
one time, you're a skier. You eat people one time, you're a cannibal, right? Like,
I would definitely tan the foot skin and then wear a sock, like my own foot sock.
God damn it.
Wow.
see, that would be legit. Some toe socks.
Dude,
Oh, that's the realest sock I've ever seen.
put it on your peg leg.
Right.
It's my real foot. I swear to God, it's my real foot.
Right, yeah, I mean, it totally would
Flat.
be. It's just stuffed.
People step on it, you just scream.
It crushes all weird like.
Right.
People are just all like, "Oh God, I killed your foot!"
Fill it full of bubble wrap.
Oh damn! That's
Pop.
Mr. Deeds it, let people stab it and freak out. Ah! I'm just kidding. You're fine. Go ahead.
that's fucking. It's cruel and unusual punishment. The bubble
Yeah.
wrap. Just Coma says that this brings to mind the time in The Walking Dead where they ate that guy's leg.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Didn't he eat himself too?
No. If he's talking, I'm wondering if he's talking about the show or the comic. If it's the comic, it was Dale's leg, and Dale was infected, and they were cannibals, and he wanted himself to get eaten. So
I think we
It
talked
was
about
awesome.
the show.
Okay.
Yeah, that was vicious.
I don't know shit
Yeah,
about the
that
show. They fucked up
Yeah,
the
it's
comic.
Yeah,
like-
just,
The
They
comic
killed-
book is great.
They killed Dale
Yeah.
way too early.
They did.
All right.
They follow that in the game too. You can you can sacrifice a guy.
Fireside.
Wow.
Pretty fun.
All right, so harkening back to two stories ago, how long would it wait? Would the wait have to be for you to get so mad that you crap the tarmac?
18 minutes. we slightly delayed the flight. It turns out I'm not priority boarding. I'm like level 2. I'm shitting in the tarmac immediately. Ah!
God damn
I
it.
thought I had priority. Ah!
All right, what do you think, practical surrealist?
Honestly, it just depends on how long it has been since last,
Okay.
and if I had eaten in-flight food.
Okay.
So,
So there's lots of factors.
yeah, let's say
All right, what's the
Let's say an
assuming all those
hour.
factors are good, what's the okay, so like an hour delay and all of a sudden you're crapping the tarmac.
yeah, I got in a fight with the stewardess earlier, so
All
it
right.
pissed me off.
That'll learn her. I'm gonna shit in my carry-on and have her put it in the overhead bin. Lols.
What about you, Ramo?
I feel like it factors into like how spicy the crap is. That
Right.
really matters.
That's true.
Anywhere, I feel like the range of poops I'm capable of having. I feel like
Yep.
anywhere between 10 minutes and 3 hours. Really, depending on what's going on in the old gutter.
Wow.
I think it depends on how much stress is going on at the time.
Yeah. I mean, I've had some shits that like have to come, like it's coming out now, and I'm not gonna just deuce in my pants. Like I'd rather just get this all over the floor,
Right.
where I don't have to like carry it around with me for the rest of my trip of shame.
Well, and you can always blame it on something. Be like, oh yeah, I don't know what happened. I have IBS, and I'm in a fucking road rage incident. So I'm gonna
Exactly.
shit on this guy's life.
Right?
Like you just
Happens.
make something up.
I'm a chill guy, but sometimes these things happen.
Well, and you have to like crap outside the plane, because if you're trying to get to the back of the plane where the only open toilet is, and then suddenly you have to go and there's a line, you're like, oh god, I gotta turn around, but you don't want to be on the plane, crapping. And then it's just gonna smell like that the rest of your trip.
Yeah.
I think they'd ask you to leave. My guess, if you did it on the plane,
No, they would drag
if you
you
just
out.
shit
Yeah.
on the plane.
There's totally
yeah.
there's guys on the plane with guns for those situations.
Yeah, Air Marshal, just like this. This is my terrorist situation.
It's like, I did
Get
not
fucking
sign up for
held
this time.
hostage by a multiple shitter.
Right,
Nah,
exactly.
I'm gonna let it happen.
It's always poop.
All right. So our next story goes over to I believe it's Great Britain. A town is celebrating becoming plastic free by unveiling their new giant banner. The flag
Made of plastic.
Plastic.
Did you guys see this before? Or,
No,
No.
I
Yeah.
can tell. And they're
Yeah.
dumb as shit over there. So
God damn it.
they Brexited plastic.
Exactly.
They just fucked it all up. And Grace is still just sitting back like, dumb bastard.
A town is so they celebrated becoming plastic free with a new giant banner. The flag sits on the Pride Place in the center of Chapelstow in Monmouthshire after the honor from the environmental group Surfers Against Sewage (SAS) gave them the award. The giant banner was put up on Sunday in a ceremony attended by the mayor Tony Redhead. His name is actually Tony Redhead.
What?
Yeah.
God.
He sounds like a mobster.
Right.
After Chipstow's first plastic-free market. But the banner over the 13th century archway has been described as beyond irony from its former mayor, who wants the local town council to take it down. Plastic-free Chapstow says it doesn't oppose the use of all plastics, but this is beyond irony. As the plastic-free sign is made of plastic.
Yeah, that's just that's a befuddle. That's somebody fumbled on that one.
Right. Man, I even like arranged a bunch of the story. Like, is this the way that this article is written? Right? It's got like immediately gives that away in the first line. I like hid it down like 3 paragraphs and shit. But you guys are all like, fucking, it's made of plastic. Fuck those idiots.
Just like ruining your
I mean,
jokes all day.
it's clearly not like a rosin sign. It's like
Fuck
they
your
could
segment.
carve it out of wood. Like that would have been perfect. Like do a crazy cool wooden sign. No, you have to put a fucking vinyl plastic sign up like a bunch of douchebags.
No,
Way to go. This is why you lost World War fucking everything.
It was
shit.
actually a leather sign, and it was made of foot leather.
Ooh. The old foot leather sign trick.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is what's happening here is like somebody in charge didn't want to deal with the sign bullshit, and so they had some like low-level admin order a sign and
Yep.
didn't tell them anything about it, and then we end up with this. So somebody like lost their fucking job.
Right, exactly.
No, he knew down the line.
Yeah, right.
Take away my fucking
Exactly.
Mountain Dew bottles, will you?
Change the shit of your coffee in the break room.
Somebody was online on a like build your own giant flag website, right? And he clicked and added the plastic free logo, right? Where it says plastic free cheap style, and then clicked order after
Yep.
right?
And it shows up like day of, and they're like, "Oh, cool, our sign's here. Let's see the." Oh God, are you kidding me?
Exactly. It's fucking plastic.
Maybe no one will notice.
Another one, just quickly.
All right. Here's another story of fucking government tomfoolery. This time in Venezuela, which is not a good place to be.
No.
Economic pledges may be a par for the course in election campaigns, but in hyperinflationary Venezuela, the candidates' dueling promises are going further, with the incumbents vowing to lop zeros off of the currency in order to solve their problem.
Oh
Like,
my
nailed
god. That's some Trump level bullshit right there.
It's so ridiculous.
So I'm going to Venezuela with my Monopoly money, and I am rich.
Exactly.
It's made off of real paper.
Right. So President Nicolas Maduro late Thursday briefly outlined his monetary rescue plan. In a country where a dozen eggs can cost 250,000 bolivars, which is worth $5 US.
Those are still expensive eggs.
Right.
Yeah.
And worsening inflation to come, he would chop 3 zeros off of the currency, thus arguably bringing the price of those eggs down to 250 bolivars, which would still be $5.
That's so dumb.
Yeah. He's like, because what are zeros, right? Zeros are nothing.
Right.
So let's just get rid of them.
The prices
Wow.
go down, so they start adding the zeros back on.
They say,
Yeah, put them at the front of the money, and they're like, it's different now.
he says, I ask you all for your prayers and support for the success of the monetary reconversion, he said in a televised event on Thursday. The move came as Henry Falcon, a former governor running against Maduro in the elections, is proposing a far more radical fix. He wants to follow the path of countries such as Ecuador and Panama by dollarizing the Venezuelan economy. Doing so, he says, would prevent printing of new bills, instantly constraining inflation. Which is this sounds a whole lot fucking better than magically erasing zeros.
So what that was essentially like structuring their economy around the US dollar.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
they would essentially
That's
just
several-
take
there are
all of
several
their
countries
wealth and
that do that.
buy dollars, right? And
Yep.
then
Yeah.
but yeah, prices are being influenced by black market exchange rates due to their economic crisis, and by the day it's rising currently 5 times the nearly inaccessible official rate is the what they're doing for the exchange rate. It's just going insane.
Yeah, the same thing happened right at the end of the like the fall of the USSR.
Right.
Like there was a bunch of like high level people that were just like, we know what's coming. We're just gonna get rid of all of our money and turn it into US, and then buy a bunch of our money back at the inflated rate and sell it before the US realizes their money is tanking. And they made like billions of dollars and just pieced out. They're like, we're gone.
Damn.
Welcome to the show, Blazed. So larger transactions are done by bank card because most people have to go. Sorry, I got a motorcyclist thinking he's cool outside of my house. Just like,
Being way too cool.
yeah,
Tell him to simmer down with his coolness.
exactly. Customers are standing in hour-long lines at banks in order to take out their daily limit of bills. Set so low that
For
it barely
eggs.
covers the price of a cup of coffee, right? Yeah, exactly. But so they do everything else by card, although vendors are now charging double for electronic payments. Which
Jesus.
is absolute horseshit. But
Yeah, this happened in Argentina.
yeah, and then I think this was it Zimbabwe where you could get like $1 trillion bills and stuff like that. Yeah,
Dude, I would just start like with a magic marker, adding zeros to my cash. Be like, oh yeah, this is what the president's doing. So I don't
That's
wanna do
legit.
No, you get the clipping. Take them on. You have a giant
God
bill.
damn it.
Yeah. I mean, like the people could just reverse it. We add zeros to the bills, right? And that means that we have more money, so we can afford eggs now, right? Salaries would be redenominated, so little would change in terms of buying power under the president's new plan. It would leave vendors charging two prices, one for the old bills and one for the redenominated bolivar. Shoppers look at the almost empty shelves in supermarkets, and the picture that they have here is really sad, but I'm not going to show it because it's a bunch of people who are having a bad time. So,
Salad.
Yeah.
Instead,
Yeah, exactly.
actual food.
So we'll move on from a place with no food to a story about a 12-year-old boy that said that he disliked the salad that his parents were making, so he called 911. Not once,
Nice.
but twice. Just before 10 p.m. on Tuesday, 911 responded to a call from a boy who said that his parents were making salad that he didn't like. However, before police arrived, the kid called 911 a second time to try to find out when the police are going to get here, and reiterated just how much he disliked the salad.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm not for beating kids. But beat that kid. Like, beat that kid.
They said that every day in Nova Scotia, 911 calls are made in error or people call for non-emergencies. 911 also said that there are a few calls that stand out where people received a $697.50 fine for the misuse of 911. Excuse me. Just sneeze time. They said that we can't make this stuff up. That the call, they've also received call. Excuse me, man. Something's got me.
Sneezy boy.
Yep. They've also received 911 calls from a parent whose kid got a haircut that they didn't like. So it's not just children that misuse 911. They see a lot of adults doing it when they shouldn't be. Given the boy's age and the discussion that the officers had with him over the correct use of 911, the police are not going to find the kid or his parents this time. Hopefully it'll be a learning lesson, and it created an opportunity for him to learn something from this. The parents said, "We were not impressed with what their son had done." When the police arrived at the door.
So did he just call this from like his cell phone, and then like he's like, "Mom, Dad, I'm gonna call the fucking cops," and they're like, "No, you're not."
Don't make
It's
me.
like, yeah, I am.
So
No, you're not.
was it stated what kind of salad it was?
Waldorf, believe it or not.
Wow.
No, it has not said yet. It doesn't say anything in here about that. Nope, doesn't say what the salad was.
Damn, I feel like that journalist really fucked up.
Yeah,
Whoever wrote that story originally, yeah.
Chance.
That was like, that's like the key. Like, was it justified or not? Like, was she making some like
It had
bullshit
anchovies in it.
kale salad with a balsamic vinaigrette? She didn't, she whipped up by hand and is all separated and shit.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of fucking like chipped
Some
cabbage,
raisins.
chipped cabbage and mayonnaise or something. Like,
Oh God, that's justified. Call that.
So I'm still waiting for a bad salad here, guys. I mean,
Well, you nasty, Wes.
Yeah.
I'm nasty.
That's just
Holy
gross,
fuck,
dude.
yeah. Fuck it, dude.
If
Dude, I
lettuce
screwed up
bits and
eating
mayonnaise
fucking
get
worse
you
than that,
going.
dude.
All right, so on to the next fireside question that I've got here. When was the last time that you called 911? and we'll start with practical surrealist. If it's something that's serious, you don't want to talk about it, skip it, pick a different one. Time you called 911. Just roll with the punches. We're good to go.
I can't remember the last time I called 911.
Right.
But I've had times when I've had to yell, call 911.
Mm-hmm.
Like being shot in the forehead.
You were shot in the forehead and then just told someone else to call 911?
I just got a Nerf dart to the forehead.
He just got shot in the forehead.
Excellent. Man, those wild sakura flower ninjas are getting crazy.
Oh, man. There was a personal thing where like I had to defend somebody, and I had to yell to the neighbors, "You better call 911," and it ended fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's the last time I can remember having to do that.
All right, Ramo, do you know the last time you called 911?
I have actually never called 911. I've dared friends to like pick up the phone in middle school, and like the free use phone out in the hallway that we had, dared them to like pick it up and like do a crank call. But that's like the closest ever. No, I've never had to do that.
Oh,
it's wild. My life has been extremely, I guess, calm in that sense. Like I feel disappointed to have a story to share, but at the same time, I'm also like kind of pumped that I've never had to do that.
That's good. I mean, it's a good.
Ramon's like, I ain't no snitch.
Yeah, right. I ain't saying shit.
All right, Wes. When was the last time you called 911?
Yeah, so it's a felony.
Not this time. No, but the last time, actually, I think one of the only times I've ever had to do it is in instances of extreme bodily harm to somebody via accident. The last time, I think I was like 9 or 10, and me, my brother, and my mom's fiance at the time were playing basketball in like the back of our house, where it's like kind of uneven pavement and a basketball hoop.
Yeah, Wes was all, this is the perfect time to get rid of this son of a bitch.
Right? Game time. Well, no, what's funny, it wasn't even, so he was like, my mom's fiance was like, throw me up an alley-oop, and I bet I can dunk this. And the dude was only like 5'7". Right. And this is like a full-size hoop. And my brother throws it up, and it's like back behind his head. And he just eats it into the ground. And I'm like, oh yeah, fuck him. And then we look over at him, and he's just sitting he like rolls over on the ground, and he's like a good like foot shorter than he should be.
Oh no.
And we're like, what the fuck? And we look at him, and his kneecaps are sitting on his thighs.
Oh, Jeebus.
And we're like, what? And he's like, I need you boys to go call 911. And we're like, okay. And then without making a noise, swear to God, grabs his kneecaps.
Oh no.
And just pushes them back into place. And then looks back at us and goes, I really need you to go call that ambulance now. And me and my brother, bolt inside and pick up the phone, and we're calling 911. And I'm like, me and him like look at each other. We're like, we can never cry in front of this man again. Whatever happens, we're never allowed to cry again. And I think that was the last time I ever cried as well. I don't think I've shed a tear since. That's how things go.
We'll check in with the chat here real quick. Destined Coma says that they accidentally called 911 like every 2 to 3 months at work. I like to know how it's accidentally. But he said the last time legitimately they called was because someone OD'd in the lobby. Grizzly, welcome to the show. Reason. How's it going? You popped in at just the right moment to hear about moving kneecaps. So the last time, last time I called 911 myself, I've been around while other people called, right? But the last time I called 911 was 29 years ago. I was a very wee child, and it's kind of similar to this story, only I wasn't being a dick. I was being an idiot. So I saw 2 commercials in California. One was talking about 911, right? Like how 911 works and if you need an emergency, right? And that this was early 80s, right? Mid 80s, I guess. And then the second one was a Pizza Hut commercial. So I decided to call for pizza. And I put the two commercials together in my little child brain. And I called 911 and said, pizza, and then hung up the phone. And when the cops showed up, they had to have a conversation with a 4-year-old. So it was basically a pointless conversation, right?
Yeah.
They're all like, hopefully he just doesn't do this again. Like, everybody's taking a gamble at this point. We're just going to see if it works. Oh, thank you for that applause.
Nailed it.
Good stories.
That's a 4-year-old.
Yeah, XG. That is Blargly, correct?
Yeah, that's me.
Blarg. Yeah, in all caps.
Yep. X gonna give it to you.
What?
Excellent. All right. In more political nonsense, landlocked Ethiopia has a new defense plan, and that is to build a navy.
Oh, good.
Finally, about time.
But I mean, and it's not even a joke, right? So following the efforts made to build the capacity of our national defense, they said, we built one of the stronger ground and air forces in Africa. We should also build our naval force capacity in the future. Pragmatic Socket, welcome to the show. In the Navy, right?
In the Navy.
Two calls to the mobile of the National Security Advisor didn't connect to confirm what he meant by the announcement of landlocked Ethiopia building a navy. But they currently have a civilian Ethiopian maritime training institute in the lake in the middle of Ethiopia, Lake Tana. Where it trains more than 500 marine engineers and electrotechnical officers each year, and plans to increase this to more than 1,000 officers annually. Their government in May agreed to develop the Port Sudan on the Red Sea and agreed with Djibouti to swap shares in state-owned ports, airlines, and telecommunications. So they're going to build a navy in someone else's country and just assume that this is going to go well. Or they're going to put it in the lake, which is amazing.
Yeah. Anybody invades this lake, they're going down.
That's hilarious. They only have like one proper sized lake too, like
Right.
big enough for any of that bullshit.
Exactly. Man, imagine that's a pretty good military training base too, though. Like, you get to go hang out at the lake.
Or they're just gonna conquer Eritrea, and this is like they're gonna pinch them off, right?
Yeah.
Like that, yeah, like that. Or they're gonna be shitty little fuckers about it. Build a navy out there and then pinch them, because like you look at this, like the Eritrea is just like between Ethiopia and the fucking Red Sea, right?
Pragmatic
Set shit
Socket
up.
says Jamaica did pretty well with bobsleds. Who knows? Maybe this is the first step for Ethiopia world conquest.
Very true.
The other countries can be like, yeah, go ahead and set up the navy. Yeah, build all those boats, do whatever you need to do. And they're like, yeah, these are ours now. Thanks for doing that. Like, get back to your fucking part of the country, you silly fucks.
All your bays are ours.
Yeah, we're the captain now.
Right.
Just,
Imagine the Cool Running style movie that this could make. Right? Like, where the world stage just won't take Ethiopia's navy fucking seriously. So they decide to show them with help from Air Bud.
God
Please tell me they
damn
have
it.
like a hidden egg somewhere in there.
A hidden egg?
Yeah, he has that egg that he always like stuffs down his pants in Cool Running.
Oh, yeah. That's
Like
right.
a lucky egg.
God damn it.
Dude, I don't remember enough about Cool Runnings to know what you're talking about there.
Time for a rewatch.
I just remembered that in the bathtub scene.
Okay.
nah, you're good. You remembered all you needed to. Jamaica bobsled team. You figured it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, with all the foreign politics we've been talking about, what one law in our politics would you change if you had the power? We'll start with Ramo this time.
Oh fuck. What one law would I change? I feel like I have a really good answer to this, but it's not immediately popping up in my head.
Well, if you need a second, we could stop in with Wes and see what Wes has got.
Yeah, go ahead. See what Wes has got.
God, I mean, there's a lot of laws I don't agree with. So I mean, to narrow it down is already difficult enough.
Right.
I feel like, honestly, if I had to choose one, just like you're like change a law, it would be that all drugs were legal.
Okay.
Legalize all drugs, every single one of them.
Let it just
and
sort
that way,
itself out.
like, well, no, like so, kind of like they've done with weed and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like you have dispensaries for heroin and methamphetamines, and that way people are,
There's
a little bit more
regulatory board.
regulated.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's like people aren't shooting up battery acid and fucking snorting just baby
crocodile.
laxatives.
Yeah, you know what you're
Like,
you know what you're getting, and you know the
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
understood.
And that way you're decriminalizing it, so people aren't getting sent to jail for having minute amount of fucking drugs on them. It's like,
Well,
fuck
and
you.
you spend a fraction of the money you spend incarcerating them on rehabilitation and education. And
Yeah.
I mean, like,
And-
what are there like multiple South American countries that have already done this, and they're showing huge improvements in drug abuse?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Well, yeah,
is
and-
one thing I was just reading about recently.
Yeah, and Oregon's taking steps towards this. Like they've not but if you get caught with small amounts of pretty much any drug, if I'm not mistaken, they'll just take it and be like, okay, as long as you don't have prior offenses, just get the hell out of here.
Or trying to sell it, or yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like that makes sense to me. Like,
This may
stop
sound a
putting
little
people
bit
in jail.
insensitive, but do you think that the spaces next to like a methamphetamines dispensary would their rent go down because it's going to be next to a meth dispensary, or would it go up because it's the greatest place for a pawn shop?
I think depending on the meth shop,
God
are you
damn
getting the
it.
high end meth? Are you getting that blue crystal from the fucking science teacher, or are you getting, it's like, this is our cheap stuff.
The
It's
government issued
fucking
fucking
only, it's
Mhm.
the brown.
$8 a
Right.
rock. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like, we live in the crappy meth part of town. Damn it!
Are you getting scientific blue or government brown? Right, like.
God damn it.
Same question. I ask myself that all the time.
All right, practical surrealist. If you could change one law, which would it be?
I would First, I actually agree with Wes.
Okay.
But since he did that, I would say mutual combat in all states.
Just legalize fucking duels again.
Rad.
Yeah.
Duels-
Rad.
Washington has that apparently. So if they both agree, they can fight. But there's weird laws around it. But that's not the worst idea.
Trial
Because
by combat.
people are gonna get stupid and fight. Yeah, trial by
I think
combat. That'd be fun.
Yeah, couple these things together. This could be an awesome place we live in.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Trial by combat after I buy a bunch of cocaine in PCP. Let's do this.
If trial by combat became a thing, Judge Judy would be the best show.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Like by far the best.
I choose Judy to fight.
Descendant
Bitch is
Coma,
going down.
Descendant Coma says Russia did the opposite, making stricter laws for drugs and drug users, and then all of a sudden Crocodile is then the response, right? Yeah.
Jesus.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Ramo? Do you got any new
Oh
thoughts?
yeah. I don't know specifically the laws, but I think I would I would get rid of whatever allows lobbying to happen. I feel like that's just like inherently fucked, no matter
Right.
what side of the spectrum, right or left, you're on. I feel like that's just like private interest bullshit that does not really belong
It's a
in
really
our
good
system
point.
and just drags it the fuck down.
Yep.
And I feel like we could, be in a lot better place without that. So yeah, I don't know the exact law, but something about that definitely.
And I mean, this is an actual. This is like isn't a joke, but an actual like educated opinion of mine. I did a lot of research on this in college, for different like debates and stuff like that. But legalize prostitution. Bam.
Oh,
fact that it isn't is dumb.
Right. But legalized prostitution is a safety thing for the public.
I totally agree with that.
For the worker, it's
My grandma was the first person to ever present that to me. She's like, "No, they need to open up the brothels again."
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh shit. Grandma knows what's up.
Fuck, Grandma rolled
I have
hard.
a story about prostitutes.
Well, and the fact they're like going the opposite direction, they're making it harder for the working girls and stuff, which makes it even more dangerous because they have to go into sketchier and sketchier parts of town, and
I do want to interrupt
Go
really
ahead.
quick. I want to make sure that we cover whatever story Practical Surrealist has about Ramo's grandma.
What?
We were talking about Ramo's grandma, and then he said, "I do actually have a story about that."
God damn it.
No, I have a story about prostitutes.
Okay.
Sort of about prostitutes. It was in Vegas. I guess indirectly. There was a cop involved. It was fun. If you want to hear it.
Go on.
Okay, so my friend and I were trying to drive to Vegas. I think it was our second time.
Right.
And we got lost, and I forget which highway it was on, one of the major highways. And this cop pulls us over because we're sitting kind of in the intersection where, this way, or this way, and then there's this really wide in between, so you can go onto this shitty road.
Right.
And we're looking at the map for like 5 or 10 minutes, and we're like, where are we? I don't know. Is that cop just watching us? Yeah, let's just drive. Okay, cool. So we're driving, and we're in a flatbed truck, giant flatbed truck with, I think there was like a couch in the back of it.
Right.
And the cop pulls us over, and he's been like, yeah, so you wonder why you're pulling? Oh, no, I'm sorry. We were driving, and I went, okay, are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Whoop! And all of a sudden, woo! Yeah, called it. So he pulls us over, and comes over and goes, "You guys know why I pulled you over?" "Yeah, we're lost, and I'm assuming it's because we're sitting on the highway, right?" "Yeah." "So, got any weapons or drugs or grenades in the back seat?" And we're like, "No, sir, but we don't have any grenades. I promise."
Right.
And he goes, "Okay, cool." And he's the coppiest cop, like cop mustache. He's like this big. He looks like a drill sergeant.
Right.
And he goes, "Okay, where are you guys trying to?"
Straight out of
"Go to
Super
Vegas."
Troopers.
Oh, straight out of Super Troopers.
Yeah.
And like, all right, so we're trying to get here. And he goes, "Okay, give me the map." "All right, so here's where you guys need to go. Go here, take a left at the old whorehouse. I'm sorry, the old prostitute house." And we're like, wait, so did you mean like the old whorehouse, the old house of hookers, the house of old hookers, or something? And he like, and he just started messing with us for a while after that.
Well, you were trying to fuck with him,
Pulled
right?
pulled his gun on us twice. Yelled, "Get on the ground!" It was great.
No, and we're trying to figure out what he meant, but because he corrected himself, old whorehouse, old house of prostitutes, and and we get there, and we're all excited, and we're looking around, like, where is this? We just want to see what it is, and it's just this abandoned, uninteresting house, and it was very sad. Yeah,
You're
But,
like, it was a
that-
whorehouse in the 70s, so it's just a house. Like, it's not
Yeah,
even like a fucking
exactly.
fancy house. Like,
the old whorehouse.
It's like a duplex that one side's still rented.
yeah.
It was super abandoned. We actually were really tempted to stop there and try to like break in and sleep because it was creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best thing to do with old houses is, commit crimes. All
I
right.
said tempted.
Are you,
Tempted.
you guys ready for the newest segment?
Oh, yes.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do, 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 do. It's time for true crime, guys.
I feel like that picture says to me that we should be thankful that he's only solving problems with arson.
Goddamn spiders. Arson.
So Livonia police forces were called. Oh, Grizzly,
shit.
100 bits. Thank you very much for those 100 bits. Do, 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 do,
Get
do. But yeah. So the Lavinia police were called to a home on Cardwell Street, just north of Plymouth Road, in the morning. The owner of a 1998 Ford Explorer reported that he woke up to a noise outside of his home. When he checked it out, he found a man pouring something on his SUV and then lighting the SUV on fire. The owner confronted the man who ran off, but left a bicycle behind in the bushes. By the time the police had arrived, the SUV was torched, and police tracked the subject with a canine, but were unsuccessful in an attempt to catch him. That was until they got a call from a man who reported his bicycle stolen.
God damn it.
Oh my god, what an idiot.
No.
He's like, I did it, I got away. Now to become the victim.
Transform and roll out.
God.
The caller said that he was at Plymouth and Inkster, just a few blocks away, but he was later found in the Redford Township. The caller then identified himself as Bingham, who police said matched the description of the man who set the SUV ablaze. Bingham was shirtless and wearing a red basketball shorts when police caught up to him. He told the police that the SUV travels through the neighborhood extremely loudly, and when he found where the SUV was parked, he said he set it on fire because it was loud and woke him up.
To stop an arsonist, Thatch must become an arsonist.
Police said that they found a gas can and a mug about a block from the burned SUV that Bingham said he used to set the fire. The owner of the SUV said he did not know Bingham or anyone that matched his description. Bingham was arrested on 4th-degree arson and is being held on $50,000 bond.
His name is Bingham.
Yeah.
That's not an arsonist name. I don't know what it is.
Right.
His face was like, "What? Where am I? Huh?
Right,
Smells
exactly.
like gasoline."
Did someone...
Fucking son.
Analog Breaks, thank you
shit.
very much for that subscription with Twitch Prime. I know who Analog Breaks is. It's a sweaty
so do
dog
I.
kind of night.
What up, Auntie?
Sweaty D.
Exactly.
She's the sweaty.
Distended Coma asks, what are the degrees of arson? And I'm probably going to say about 700.
I'm guessing it gets hotter than that. But long story short, the lower the number, the worse it is. You don't want murder 1.
Right.
You want murder, not murder.
Right, exactly. Murder 10 is preferable.
Yeah, it's like murder adjacent.
That's where you accidentally said a murderer's trigger word and he killed someone a year and a half later. You get murder 10 for that.
No, I've done that so many times.
All right. Here is a tale of some bank robberies. So 2 would-be bank robbers almost had their escapes. This word, dude. I came across it earlier and I was gonna replace it, but I totally forgot. So scuppered, whatever the hell scuppered means.
They really scuppered it up.
Yeah, exactly. Their
I think
escape
scuppering is what the fucking mystery machine does with Scooby-Doo every time they catch a guy. They really scuppered up my plans, damn kids.
I mean, it makes sense.
Scupper?
Yeah. SCUPPERED. Scuppered.
Yeah, informal, prevent from working or thwart. Or succeeding
Okay.
thwart.
Boom!
All right.
Yeah.
Damn
Yeah.
mystery gang.
So 2 would-be robbers almost had their escape mystery machined by traffic in Ethiopia's capital of Addis Ababa. The attempted bank heist happened late on Tuesday afternoon at the Bole branch of the Abyssinia Bank. 2 of the alleged robbers, one of whom is reported to be a security guard for the bank, fled empty-handed, but police managed to apprehend the main suspects. According to the communications chief at the bank, they used the car to escape, but were later collided with a vehicle belonging to Antenne Redai. my friends and I tried to follow them, but the car couldn't go beyond 50 meters due to the crash that it suffered. The Mr. Antenna told the reporters over the phone. I saw them driving the car down the wrong lane because of the traffic jam. The driver jumped out of the car and started running. Another young man from the passenger seat followed the driver. The people around the area started shouting and tried to stop them, but one of the guys was holding a knife. So everybody starts going after. They don't even know that there's a bank heist that they're stopping. These guys just fuck around in traffic, so everyone gets out of their cars and starts trying to beat these guys' asses because they're running away from a crash.
God damn.
It's like the best police force, just a bunch of angry villagers. So
pitchforks.
Right, exactly. But they were caught. So they won. Even with the help of the security guard from the bank, they didn't make the robbery happen. Then they didn't plan their escape route well enough to avoid traffic, and then crashed into another vehicle and were apprehended by random citizens. So
Jesus.
basically the worst heist movie in the history of film.
Yeah. You know, they probably got apprehended by citizens because somebody put it on WhatsApp.
No,
Right.
That's a good point. Somebody WhatsApped it. There's escapers. It finally worked.
The whole populace just went fucking hunting.
Exactly. It's the first time
man.
WhatsApp didn't lead in 6 deaths.
Extreme.
Yeah, right.
All right. So our last true crime here is authorities in New Mexico are looking for a prisoner who's facing several charges. This one isn't necessarily a tale of a dumb criminal. It is a tale of a dumb criminal system. So, including attempted murder and mistaken... he was facing several charges, including attempted murder. He had been in custody since December on charges of including attempted murder, shooting at or from a motor vehicle, aggravated battery, racketeering, and conspiracy. The detention center said that he escaped with the help of his cellmate, whom he switched identification badges with, tricking the jail employees into releasing him early. So... the guy that he was in the slammer with was going to be released that day, so he swapped badges with him.
The old switcheroo.
Right, exactly. At about 2 a.m. on Sunday, he walked out of the facility wearing a wristband that belonged to Edlin Lorendo Sanchez, who was scheduled to be released that day. Perez Cordova then got onto a bus that takes released inmates to the city's downtown and drops them off near Albuquerque's Civic Plaza. Roughly half an hour drive from the detention center. He has not been found since. Jail staff said that they realized the mistake about 3 hours later. Obviously, right now, the focus is getting the inmate back, but there is going to be an extensive investigation into how this happens. Obviously, that's very important to us because we need to look at our practices and policies and see what we can do from stopping this from happening in the future.
Fuck.
But I mean, this is some fucking cartoon level shit. Like,
Yeah, that's amazing.
Good job, New Mexico. Holy shit. Well, now we know what to do, guys. This is added to our list of things that we... Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm getting out today.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you, yeah.
Hey, you want my pass? I don't really want to go. I like it here.
Well, I mean, like, are they not going to let you out? You could just be all like, he took it from me. What was I supposed to do? Right?
Yeah, right.
And then they let you go, and then you both get out. And he owes you
Hell
one.
yeah.
Now you've got a guy who's willing to, like, shoot out of cars and attempted murder people that is totally,
And you got to,
like, in your pocket, right?
Meet him in Tijuana.
Exactly. Yeah. And then he'll take care of the person that you need.
Exactly.
Exactly. It'll be all like, you get 3 names. All right.
He's like a genie, but for getting people dead.
Right, exactly. Pragmatic Socket says, Scuppard, I would have gotten away with it too if it hadn't been for you damn kids. Journeyman Bader says, sabotaging a vehicle, i.e. scuppering a ship, would be breaking the rudders, slitting the sails.
Yeah, it was a nautical term as well. I saw that as well.
Gotcha.
That really didn't fit to the story, though, to sink
This Dan Tacoma
deliberately.
got my reference. Fuck yeah. It was
Nice.
a Game of Thrones reference. Where the assassin gave her 3 names. Dragon
yeah.
Daughter, how's it going?
Okay.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
All right. So, with all this talk of crime, what was the best thing you got away with as a kid?
Ooh.
Looks like Wes is not currently here right now. So we'll pop down to Practical Surrealist.
Okay. I got away with a lot. Actually, I'm going to tell you the one I didn't get away with, but I sort of did.
Okay.
Because I didn't really get in that much trouble.
Right.
So I would, my friends and I used to live near an abandoned military base. And and we found like a bunch of the warehouses where they still had stuff in them.
Right.
I mean, at least we assumed. And then we found one that it was the door, the garage door looking thing was like cracked just a little bit. So we came back later with a truck and we went underneath and it was just full of old cop cars and like piles of BDUs and tear gas and just military police stuff, police scanners and bulletproof vests. And we're like, oh, cool. So we start like unloading and like putting stuff into the truck.
Right.
And all I see is my friend going out, like we're doing another load, and he just like pokes his head out and goes, fuck, the cops are here. So we just kind of wait for a while. And then we're like, you know what? He's not going away. Let's just go out there. And so we do. The cop was weirdly nice to us for breaking into everything. And it's like, hey, why do you guys have well, you guys got gloves? Well, we didn't want to leave fingerprints on anything. He goes, okay, at least you're honest. That's appreciated. And you know what? I'm really bad at telling stories. Anyway, we get to the cop station and we're fucking around. I'm like, hey, you gonna put handcuffs on us? He's like, no, but you want me to? No, I guess not. But they're going through all of our stuff and a razor blade falls out of my wallet.
Okay.
And I see him. This is we're waiting in the waiting room and behind a bunch of proof glass.
That's the point where like, Ichiro busts into crawling in my skin.
I just see this. I just see him going through my wallet. I'm like, what's good? And then he just goes, like, it's a razor blade. Why do you have a razor blade? First you break into a place and now you have like weapons? Where you have drugs? Like, no, I go camping a lot with my dad and I have a razor blade for like striking like flint.
That shit is not something a cop is believe.
Yeah.
He totally believed me. He was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I'm like, I can't believe you actually believe me.
Yeah, that's
and
ridiculous.
We were, like, sitting in the jail cell opposite of each other, my friend and I, and he is freaking out like, let me out, please. My mom's gonna hit me. Yeah. We're like 17. My mom's gonna hit me, and he is huge. He's like the 6'2", quarterback of the school. Not kidding. He was the quarterback of the school.
That means that his mom was 5'2" and just a machine.
She was scary. I love that woman. They go to take our, and they. So, by the way, if you end up able to find my record, I'm pretty sure it's been sealed because I was underage. But they went to go take my mugshot, and at the time I was also a goth kid,
right?
And they couldn't get my mugshot to work, and the camera ended up breaking like 3 times. The first one, it was super overexposed, so like half of my face doesn't exist.
They're trying to white focus you, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, well, it's not just white focus. It's like fine, and then it's just all these colors.
Okay.
It's just all broken. So they try to take a second and third time.
All right. So if other people are as confused as me, is this because of some sort of goth magic or something? Like what is it?
I'm assuming it is. Because I'm a goth kid. Like the picture wouldn't take.
You could take pictures of the white half of him, but not the Japanese half.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it works.
God,
also, my fingerprints wouldn't show up on the fingerprint thing because it was like you put your fingerprints on and they like bake it. It was a weird system, but that wouldn't work. The camera wasn't working, And I'm like, hey, can I take a look at it? I can probably fix it for you. So they let me fix the camera to take my own mugshot.
Excellent.
It was really dumb. I cannot believe.
You just cut the wires. I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oops.
But we kind of got away with everything. I think our only punishment was to go to this like 3-hour class, and you had to stand up and tell everybody what you did, like in AA.
Okay.
And one of the best parts was like, well, yeah, I sold tobacco to some young kids, and we held up some guy. We robbed him. What did you guys do? Breaking, entering, theft, and trespassing government property. And everybody just stops and looks at us.
So did they actually find that you had taken the stuff?
Yeah, but it was like we didn't get any of the good stuff, so they didn't actually care too much. And
Okay.
we didn't technically break, only enter and theft, because it was already open and we didn't open it. So and we were 17, and it was literally that one thing we're like, well, we're about to turn 18, we might as well just go have some fun.
Primal Socket is
Boom, charged as adult. In prison.
Primal Socket is verifying that you had the goth magic. So I guess that's how it works.
I don't know who you are.
Jesus.
All right, Wes, what's
Right?
the best thing you got away with as a kid?
See, best thing, like, I got away with a lot of shit as a kid. Like, so, like, nowadays, like, I'm a pretty well-adjusted adult, right? Well-adjusted.
Yeah.
Like, I did some messed up shit. Like bad. Like, I was a piece of shit. Like, growing up, like, middle school, I was a just garbage human being. Like, egging people's stuff like that. Everybody kind of did that stuff. But I found out that like bologna was corrosive to old car paint. So this guy down the road had like honked at us one time, and so I like bolognaed his like classic car, like and it just sat there for days because I put the cover back over it.
Right.
So he like found it days later, just fucking ruined. I took a donkey statue and threw it through a guy's brand new truck window and just ran off. Like, I was a piece of shit. But one of my favorite things that one of the bigger things is like there was a KB Toys right in the mall, and I never got into like really. I played Magic the Gathering and a game called Hero Clicks. But I never got into like Pokemon too much. I collected some of the cards or like Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh is really big in my middle school, and I was like fucking nerds. But I decided to start stealing Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I would steal them by the case from KB Toys from the register. So not just like, oh, I'm going to sneak a pack. I would take like a case at a time. And I did that for like a year and a half until I had like, not like every day or anything. I had like 32 cases of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I just started selling at school and like making money hand over fist to buy Hero Clicks. Like at one point I had an appraised value for my Hero Clicks. Yeah, fucking nerd shit, right? But of a few $1,000s, and my mom never gave me a cent. I just robbed KB Toys blind of just hundreds of packs, if not thousands of packs of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I never even used. I just found out which ones were worth any money and just sold the rest.
Right.
It was that's what I did as a teenager. Was just like I said, I was a garbage human being.
All right, Ramo, what's the best thing you got away with as a kid?
I really didn't. I need to be honest and admit that I was a lot like Wes. I was a garbage fucking teenager. I did some really shitty things, and this whole time I've been sitting here thinking about all the shitty things that I really don't even now want to own up to. So I'm gonna go with my actual proudest, and that's the sheer amount of pornography that I viewed at such a young age. my grandfather was like it was almost lifetime. Like when I was that young, we're talking like what, like 10 to 15 in that range.
Right.
He subscribed to Playboy, and he had like all the fucking old ones, like all the way back to like the late 50s, early 60s, all just down in his fucking office in the basement. And so I looked at a shit ton of porn. Like obviously it wasn't like I was allowed to. I snuck that shit, but I think ultimately that's what I'm proud of.
You're
and now,
like
of course, that doesn't matter because
sneaking into there and
every kid has a cell phone. But back in 1998, that was a big fucking deal.
You used to take the little advertisements and make tiny porn magazines so you can keep them in your wallet.
Damn, DG.
Of course you did.
Oh yeah.
I would have to say
he had a physical spank bank. Yeah, it's right here.
I definitely would also say that I was a pretty big piece of shit as a kid. One of the things that I have to say was the funnest thing that I got away with, and was possibly almost like I would be so pissed if this happened to me. Like so pissed. Actually, there's two stories. Shit. All right. Well, you'll get both of them. All right. When we were like 13 or 14 ish. We had started a fight club, but with swords, right? And we were running around with like wooden sticks, and we all thought it would be cool if we had metal swords. And I don't remember how we figured it out, but one night, me and a buddy went around with some bolt cutters that he stole from his dad, and we stole like 70 car antennas.
Holy shit.
We just fucking
holy shit.
And then we spent the next couple of weeks whipping the shit out of each other with car antennas.
Oh my god.
In a tiny little arena we built in a forest.
I done that with what was it, wire clothes hangers with my friends.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
God. The longer this goes on, the more shitty things I remember that I did.
Yeah, I got
one more
quick
thing.
I
God,
got one more
this is
quick
terrible. I was a horrible fucking person.
All right, Wes, what you got?
Okay, so just quick, the what you just said reminded me of it. So this is the big thing, because I'm gonna release some more felonies. So me and my friends figured
That's why
out
people really watch for the felony.
found out how to order online like super young, right? Like right when shit was just being able to be ordered online, we figured out how to order gunpowder. and cannon fuses, and so we had started making pipe bombs and finding the nicest, most like artisanal fucking mailboxes we could find and blowing them up. And most people are like, oh, you got to blow them up like first thing at night, like, or late at night. No, you fucking do it first thing in the morning, like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning. So people are like about to get out of bed, but not wanting to. And you fucking blow up their fucking mailboxes. And we would always take a souvenir. Like one we blew up a mailbox shaped like a mail truck with a mailman in it, and we took the mailman's head. Like we blew up probably 25, 30 mailboxes, and looking back, that's federal offense, 2 to 4 years per mailbox.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's like, fucking piece of shit kids, man. I tell you what.
So my buddy used to trust me every once in a while with his mail delivery route, right? So every time he'd like need to do something so that he could be responsible, he would trust me like to take over, and he would give me some money.
Wait. Like a mail delivery, like
Paperboy
delivered. You didn't deliver gigolos, but okay,
no,
fine.
not mail. Sorry, I mean as in his paper delivery route. So like he was a paper boy, and I would help him with it, right?
You tried to spice it up and make it sound cooler. He's
Right.
a fucking paper boy.
No, so after about the third time, now this is back when I was a real piece of shit. About the third time I'd bothered like taking over with him, I was like, this is the worst thing ever. I'm up early. It sucks out here. It's cold. I literally started just throwing all the newspapers in the river. And would like just pick up the whole thing, the whole like delivery box that they put it, and somehow get it onto my bike, ride 2 blocks to the river and throw them in, and then go home. And then if he got complaints, because people didn't complain every time they didn't get their thing, but you know, if they got complaints, I'd be all like, somebody must have stole their paper, right?
Everyone's paper got stolen.
Like this would only happen like once every like 5-6 months that I would, you know, I would run his paper route for him because he was doing it every day himself. But it was about the 3rd time that I just started throwing him in the river. And then it only happened I only got to do his route about 3 more times, and then he never asked me anymore.
Damn it.
Yep. That's great.
I was the fastest delivery boy. All right.
Of course.
Moving on. I have a blank slide here. Let's see. Let's move on to some of the other stuff that I've missed like every other time. Hold on. Because we're getting on to 8 minute or 8:40 and we haven't even gotten into some other shit. What the fuck? Why is it still going? Stop.
Just leave it on for the rest of the episode.
Shit.
The question is that bees or is that a sloth? Just angry sloth.
It's just playing forever. I don't get it, man. What is going on?
Google angry sloth noises. It's almost identical.
Hold on. I actually have to go like to remove that from the slideshow because it's just I don't know what's going on there.
Fucking bees.
God
We'll
damn,
see who
man.
can more honey.
Bitch better have my honey.
Bitch better have my honey. All right. So let me see. Slideshow from the current slide. Bam. Okay. No bee noises. We're good.
Ooh.
Right? Okay. So I've been trying to cover this for a couple of days, right?
Sorry.
That's all good. So campaign managers for Colombia's right-wing presidential candidate Ivan Duque were probably hoping to create a bit of a buzz with a campaign rally during next week's election, but the event turned into a fiasco after it was attacked by a swarm of killer bees. Scores of people were caught up in the bizarre incident on Saturday, including the former president Alvaro Uribe, who was stumping on behalf of his protege Duque. Uribe had been scheduled to address supporters in La Loma, a small town near the northern Southern province, but he was forced to run for cover before he could give his speech. 15 people ended up being taken to the hospital, but were later discharged. Here's the real part of this story. Instead of saying, like, due to unfortunate events and people being hurt and what's going on, right? They started tweeting about how he can't, his opposition started posting about how the bees were not obviously on his side and that they're planning to vote for their side. And then their side started tweeting and posting about how even the bees attended their rally.
They were the bee's knees.
Nature is
Right.
on our side.
And also, people have begun accusing the opposition party of using bioterrorism and possibly releasing killer bees to attack people.
God damn it.
I want to weaponize bees. That'd be rad.
Yeah.
The biggest tweet that's making the most controversy right now is when Petro, the opposition, responded, "So it turns out that African bees are Petro supporters." He tweeted, "Could it be because they're workers?" Being that he runs for the workers' union, right?
Damn.
No. You don't understand how killer bees work there, do you?
Right.
It's like those aren't worker bees.
You're right.
We're gonna sting you to death bees.
Pragmatic Socket says, I know I keep a trunk of killer bees on me for political events.
That's the way to crowd control.
Right. Police started using bee guns, just bzzz, right?
Dude, I want a bee pistol.
Yeah, it would work out.
That'd be great.
Or a dog that has bees in its mouth, so when it barks, it shoots bees at you.
Isn't that from The Simpsons?
Right, like 20 years ago. Like...
Right?
God damn it.
Fuck.
Oh, we're fucking old, dude.
I love it.
So this next story is another bee attack incident. So Don Hoover was headed to a client's home near downtown when he saw a screaming woman on the street flailing her arms. He said, I thought she was on drugs. So she was so crazed, people were stopping because she was running in and out of the road. The St. Petersburg dog trainer wrote on Facebook. Still, he minded his own business and went on with his normal errand. When he came back out into the 5th Street near 5th Avenue, and a few minutes later, there were other people running around yelling, they're everywhere and they're all over you. And that's when he saw the bees and he began to run for his car.
Oh, man.
Luckily, no bees got in the car with me, he said. When he posted this story on Facebook, about a week later, he got a message from Sheena DeRocker, who said, I was the crazy girl. She told the Tampa Bay Times and confirmed his description rang true. But the 24-year-old bartender cut through the alley behind her apartment at Bay Villas towards her car parked on the 1st Street that day when she was swarmed by so many bees she couldn't see and could barely hear above the buzz. She dropped her textbooks and then ran to the street. She was screaming and crying and thinking that the worst thing I could do because they feed off of yelling. I shouted for a guy across the street. And he was like, no, I don't want those bees near me. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you run at me covered in bees? Help me, I'm covered in bees. Yes, you are. Don't make me covered in bees.
I am not a large body of water.
Right.
Go fall in a fucking sewer drain or something, you crazy.
Passing
Hold
cars.
on, did you just say that the bees feed on Ray? What did you?
She said
on yelling and screaming?
Yeah, bees feed on yelling and screaming.
Is that how they sate themselves?
Distended coma, it says Ramo
They just
said
need
that,
somebody to scream.
Distended coma says Ramo told me that yelling at bees makes them go away.
Yeah.
You just have to yell loud enough.
Nerd Cave Show says, well, to be honest, I feed off yelling as well.
Nailed it. And before we gloss over the fact this guy's name is Don Hoover, like
right?
He's the fucking mob boss of fucking vacuum cleaners. Just saying.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad we didn't miss that.
Just, I've been catching the dumbest shit lately. Go ahead.
So she said that passing cars slowed but didn't stop, and she considered jumping into a nearby pool, which you should have done. Finally, a woman and her daughter, who Dereker recognized from the hotel she works at, stopped and shouted for her to come over. They started spraying her with something, hairspray, they think. Then a guy came out of somewhere and told me to close my eyes, and he started spraying me with something too. And when they told me to run, where was I supposed to run? There were bees in my hair. Dereker got in the car with the mom and the daughter, who dropped her off at the door to her apartment. A neighbor drove her to the emergency room at St. Anthony's Hospital. She was stung 10 times on her arms, head, and face, which is lucky. Shit, if you get swarmed at only 10 stings, that's really good. Right?
Pretty good.
The doctors pulled out a stinger out of her
Wes,
scalp.
we can't hear you.
Right?
I think she over-exaggerated how many bees were actually there. There's like 3 bees, and they're like barely in her face. Oh my god! Yeah, because I've seen a swarm of bees attack a person, and my uncle got stung like 183 times for standing on a ground hornet nest. Like, just saying, 10 stings, she's a liar.
So-
she's a blatant liar and a fat mouth.
Have you seen the way goth kids dance?
Like they're being swarmed by bees.
Yeah, slow
Yeah.
motion swarm of bees.
Yep. They're constantly swatting a bee this way and swatting a bee this way. All right. Journeyman says that I've been stung 21 times. All right.
Fucking hurt.
We could either move on to a bee story or we could move forwards and some more content.
My story's boring.
All right. We'll move on. We'll go to some of the cool
Yeah, pretty
stories
much.
today.
Yeah, mine's
Pretty
not that
much
exciting
told you
either.
mine.
Yeah.
I watched my uncle get stung like 183 times. Like, fuck that guy.
I stepped on a bee and couldn't go hiking, so that's.
Oh no!
I found out I wasn't allergic to bees by slapping a beehive because I'm an idiot. So
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
Herb.
that was that same little kid who likes to call for pizza, you know.
Pizza.
All right. So this story's neat.
Yes, it is.
Moving on. Neat.
Workers
Next
at a
one.
Massachusetts
neat,
supermarket
okay.
have found a rare orange lobster. And by rare, it means that
Because it's not dead.
well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
1 in 30 million lobsters could be orange. So
Because they're supposed to be blue, right? They're like a bluish
Right.
black color or some
exactly,
bullshit.
a lobster this color would be a beacon to predators in
Yep.
in the ocean, and somehow this one is 6 years old and still alive. It has been rescued and sent to a aquarium in Boston. It is
Nice.
also possible that it'll either stay in Boston or go to a different aquarium in Japan for study.
It's pretty cool.
Super.
So it was found in nature where it lived and rescued from its home.
You're going to eat it.
Wes, that's called
Yeah.
liberty. It's called liberty.
I think we have different definitions of some stuff.
Very good point. All right. On to news of a politician who doesn't suck. So the Dutch Prime Minister, Mark Rutte, was clearly not expecting anyone to fetch his coffee as he walked into the parliament this week, clutching a takeout, which says quite a bit about this humble politician. But he spilled it when he was going through the security gate. So what did he do? He went to the area where the cleaning ladies for the office was, took the mop from them, and cleaned up the mess himself.
Nice.
Yeah. This picture is the only picture that was taken of it, so there wasn't it doesn't seem to have been a publicity stunt. And the cleaning ladies all came and stood around him and cheered him on as he cleaned up his coffee spill.
Aw,
God damn it.
Yeah.
cute.
Turns out the mop was like covered in terrible just grossness and hadn't been washed yet. So he's really just spreading it around.
Just-
They're like not cheering him on. They're like, no, stop!
He has no idea how to mop.
His poop, no do.
So much poop.
You make it worse. Please stop.
Exactly.
There's no lemon pledge.
All right. Octlantis is our name of our next story, and I'm very happy to have been able to have said that in my life. At the end of last year, scientists discovered a small octopus city and promptly dubbed it Octlantis. In a study that suggests that the members of this gloomy octopus species, the Octopus terrecticus, are perhaps not the isolated and solitary creatures that they were originally supposed to be. Octlantis features dens made out of piles of sand and shells and is home to up to 15 of these cephalopods.
That's cool.
Right. They recorded 10 hours of footage of the site, which lies 10 to 15 meters under the water and measures 18 by 4 meters, which is 59 by 13 feet. They've got it all set up like in a long, strip mall, right? The international team of researchers saw that the octopuses were then meeting up, living together, communicating with each other, and chasing away any other octopuses that came near their gated community.
That's not
I fucking love octopi.
Right. And
octopuses is totally still correct.
Octopuses, yeah.
right. And it turns
Unless
out
you want to sound like a pretentious douchebag, and then it's octopi.
right. Octahood, right? Well, it turns out it is a little bit of a rough place to play because they also seem to constantly evict each other from the dens to get the better ones. So they're also playing a real complicated game of Monopoly the entire time. All right. Here's a fucking story from the motherland. Workers in Russia are now being taught to smile.
God damn it.
Because of the upcoming 2018 FIFA World Cup, which kicks off on Thursday. Russians...
Today.
Oh, yeah, today. Yeah, sorry. I got this on Tuesday, so yeah.
Yeah, no.
Russians do not smile as much as other Europeans, according to the BBC. An article in The Atlantic attempts to explain why it loosely translates to a Russian proverb, laughing for no reason is a sign of stupidity. Is part of their reasoning here. We're
Nailed it.
We're pretty much a dumb podcast to them, I guess. Right?
And they gotta get a little. Never mind.
No. But to prepare for all of the tourists that are on their way in, workers in key companies like FIFA, Russian Railways, Moscow Metro are all undergoing smile training. The BBC says that the world governing body for the football and the two Russian transport firms are teaching their staff how to smile in order to match tourist expectations and avoid a reputation for being an unfriendly company.
There we go.
Memory Alpha? What is that?
It's Data's brother, Lore. Learn to smile.
Excellent. And the chat is all going off on octopodes.
Yep.
Octopods.
Octopotamus is my favorite on there, but
it's octopotamuses.
Right.
It's plural.
This story is kind of interesting. So, an Alabama girl that just graduated high school in an unexpected way used an iPad dressed in cap and gown to attend her graduation ceremony from a hospital bed.
Nice.
Yeah. So she
I
was
love robots.
exactly. This is what the future is fucking for. God damn it.
See, but I use that to go to the world's largest orgy, and it doesn't count. I don't get
it. There were over 500 iPads in attendance.
Counted.
There were and then 325 people that were just a little bit perturbed.
Right.
But anyway, the hospital has a robot specifically for this. So if there are patients that are bedridden and would need to go to something important, they have this robot just for that. So
that's cool.
Fucking awesome. The future is now. All right, here's the last positive story we've got here for the day. You can see in the middle there is Kato, the big white dog there. 5-year-old, 125-pound Great Pyrenees who went on a hike this weekend in Evergreen, Colorado. But Kato got tired and a little bit dehydrated during the hike, and he needed some help. So Cato's owner called Evergreen Fire Rescue about a mile from Maxwell Falls Trailhead on Sunday. And that's because that's where Cato had decided that they were done with the hike.
It's like, I'm a Great fucking Pyrenees. I decide when this hike is over.
Yeah, exactly. The department said that they were super happy to help. We heard dog in distress, and a bunch of us showed up. So they sent way too many people to rescue this dog. And when the department arrived, they said Kato was exhausted and couldn't get up, but was still alert. He needed some help, she said. Martin said that Cato looked grateful at his rescuers, just like most human patients do when the fire department arrives to help. She said the department used the same device on Cato that they used to carry any other hiker in distress.
Yeah, that is a giant wheel.
Yeah, it's pretty damn cool, right? Like,
Yeah.
I want one of those.
stretchers are stupid.
Yeah.
why don't everybody
Good
have these AT exactly all-terrain
ATS.
stretchers, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we're getting to the end of the podcast, and I'd like to cover one of the last two parts that we've got here. Do we want to do Florida Man, or do we want to do stupid shit for sale? I have really funny
Yes.
stupid shit. So, and we could just do
Which is more funny?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be stupid shit for sale.
Stupid shit for sale.
This stupid shit thing.
Okay. So Florida Man is good, but stupid shit for
No,
sale is better.
what was the guy hiding?
Exactly. We'll cover that Florida Man in the future. All right. So, now this first item that I've got for stupid shit for sale is something that we all know and love. But I felt we need to show this on today's show because the price is just reaching hijinks levels of pricing. So here is the Ruby's Adult Jurassic World inflatable dinosaur costume
shit.
for $52.
Excellent.
Oh, that's so worth it. That's
Wow.
so worth it.
The standard coma 95 biddies. Thank you very much. Excellent. But yeah, I saw this here and I was like, holy shit, $52?
Shit.
Like,
Only 70 for one with sound.
right. For those of you who know what this means, this counts as a mutant prosthetic.
Yes.
Nerd Cave Show Audio Kraz says, I love it, but the zipper doesn't go low enough. Ah, cha, cha, cha.
Imagine that.
Oh my god.
everywhere.
What if this was the Rad Dragons?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Blaze Black Sheep, thank you again for that applause. All right. So on this show, we've covered a lot of stuff about getting drunk, right? We've also covered a lot of shit about how to hide getting drunk. But for us who do not have the time to hide our booze, but we still want to get absolutely crunk in the shower, I present to you. Oh, Dragon Daughter, thank you very much for that applause. My thing didn't reach up yet. The shower beer holder. So,
Finally. Jesus.
Grips to shiny surfaces.
yeah, exactly. This thing just literally sticks to walls so that you can put your beer wherever it is it needs to go.
That's awesome.
And I got a glass slider, so that's perfect.
Right, exactly. A lot of people can use this here.
Oh yeah.
It's it'll definitely help keep your beer from ever sliding into the beer and you losing another soldier right in the shower. I mean, it's also really just something that when someone else uses your shower, they then have to ask, why is there a beer holder? And you can say, I'm an adult. Nerd Cave says, screw beer, and I don't have to hide my whiskey. For that, if this is too unsophisticated for you, I present to you the Sip Caddy shower portable cup caddy for beer and wine with a suction cup shower beer holder clear.
No,
So
that's not the shower. That's tub only.
right. See, this
This
is
is
built to hold both beer cans, bottles of shampoo that you've hidden alcohol inside of, and
If you're using this for regular showering equipment, you're being an asshole.
right, exactly. It comes in multiple colors in case that clear is just not enough for your wine needs, right? But like there's the pink one. That's the best one. But yeah. So sophisticated drinkers, shower beer holder.
It's amazing.
All right. So we'll start with Wes. When I say, when it comes to the kitchen, what animal comes to your mind? What would your answer be? Definitely a little bit weird, but we're still gonna...
What animal, huh?
Yep.
I mean, my dog. He never leaves the goddamn kitchen.
Distended Coma says giraffes. Dragon Daughter says cat. What do you think, Practical Surreal? When you think of the kitchen, what animal do you think of?
Normally I don't know, but for some reason a goat came to mind as soon as you said it.
All right, Ramo, do you have a spirit animal for the kitchen?
Anteater.
Anteater, gotcha. Turns out the
Yeah, I'm
correct
going
answer
here.
is bear. So these are the Fred Bear oven mitts.
Okay.
Look at these things. They're amazing. They're oven mitts shaped like bear paws. No one needs this, but everyone should want it.
That is amazing.
They're more protected than Thanos' Infinity Gloves.
Oh my god, I laughed so stupid hard when they recalled that.
Oh yeah.
I still have mine, by the way. I didn't turn mine in.
Oh, I know.
I have bear claw salad tossers.
Dude, then you have to have these.
Awesome.
Right?
from Ketchikan, Alaska.
Do you growl when you toss salads with them? You go growl.
I'll be honest, I don't toss salad, Ramo. I'm sorry to disappoint.
All right. Have you guys ever wanted to, to wake up with the urge to kill a robot?
Yes.
Probably.
Every day.
Yep. Well, this will give you that urge every morning with Clocky, the original runaway alarm clock on wheels.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nerd Cave asks ever or often. Well, yeah, it was just saying, would you like to have the anger of to destroy all robots? It comes in multiple different colors, and it's probably annoying as shit.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you set
like,
it up
have you
incorrectly.
Oh, it's small too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just runs away.
They go under your
commercials are-
bed and you
Yeah.
just can't get to it.
You have to pull out the pistol and take it down.
Well, like any infomercial commercial, the people that are in there in the commercial just completely inept at doing life things.
Right.
So like the guy like gets up and like gets out of bed and tries to get it and like falls into the wall. He's like, whoa! It's like,
Or the guy who's trying to use his
I don't
phone
want
while holding Cheetos or whatever, and he just can't hold the phone and Cheetos at the same time, and all of a sudden the Cheetos are fucking everywhere.
God damn it.
you need to organize your cabinets, and then she opens it and just gets destroyed by a mountain of fucking plasticware. It's like, why do you have that much plasticware?
Nerd Cave Show says Clocky meet Glocky. Blaze Black Sheep says, where's my shotgun? They all went straight for this thing has to die.
Well, yeah.
Have you seen
Andy
the-
Lock Break says that the commercial where the woman opens a cupboard and about 1 billion Tupperware containers fall on her.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So what's your opinion on fortune cookies, Ramo?
Bullshit.
All right. How about you, Wes?
I only eat them if it's a good fortune.
Okay. And how about you?
Because gross.
Practical.
They're an essential part of the American food.
Chinese food
colony.
industry.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Food colony.
Right.
Close enough.
Weren't
I
they
have
fucking
found
Japanese?
the best.
No, they're
Fortune
American. They're
cookies.
straight up American.
So these are the misfortune cookies.
Oh, those are rad.
Oh, that's awesome.
In case you ever decided that you wanted to have some way better fortune cookies, like their example one here says, "At least I believe in you, me, a piece of paper." Also, they're black fortune cookies, so it looks awesome.
Yeah, I wonder if they taste any better than normal fortune.
I
Well,
do.
hopefully they're slightly less stale than every other fortune cookie.
Yeah.
And wrong again. They're worse. I would make them worse if I were them, just to make it better.
Right. All right. Let me see. Is this the last one that I've got? Yeah. Okay. So, did you guys see the E3 conference for Bethesda? I know a lot of you guys did.
Yes, I did.
Did you guys see the joke that they told about the Alexa app?
Yes. Which is
It's not a joke. Here is
exactly
the link
amazing.
to enable Skyrim on your Alexa device. So if you click this sign up thing and your Amazon account is tied to your smart device, it will start playing Skyrim. And it's stupidly fun. Annie Lex Break says that she's tried it. And yeah, this is in case you need it, right? That's the thing that you can do. It'll definitely provide hours of entertainment, or at least 5 minutes. That's pretty much what it did for me, because I got bored after about 5 minutes. I was like,
of course,
this is totally, it's exactly what it said it was. But it doesn't let you yell "fuss roda" to use fucking your shout. You actually have to say "you shout," and it's the most disappointing thing of the entire situation.
Oh damn!
I scared my dog by yelling "fus roda" the first time. I was all "fus roda," and he was all, "Oh shit!"
It's like,
how does it?
Does
it just like start you out at like that where the game normally starts out? Like, how does that work?
It talks about how you're the Dragonborn and you have to go do meaningless quests. It does definitely tell you that you're going to have to talk to pre-generated characters or randomly generated characters to do randomly generated quests in randomly generated dungeons.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. And then like I don't know, I fought a wolf and found an axe and some stuff. I just shouted at the wolf until it went away.
Yeah. Just like bees, like you have to do with bees.
Exactly.
That's how you get rid of bees.
You have to use dragon shouts to get them to go away.
If just ended it still here, then that's how you get rid of bees.
All right, well, it's 9:13. We got to wrap up the show. We went a little bit over tonight, and I didn't get through all the content again, which means that we had too much fun talking, which is fine. Right?
Exactly.
This is way better than back in the day when I had to like, all right guys, let's stretch out this conversation a little bit. We were having too much fun, and that's always the best way to do it.
Exactly.
Excellent. All right, well, Ramo and Practical, thank you very much for joining for the first time. How was your guys' experience for the first time?
It was great.
Yeah. Fuck you, bees from Gnarls Blurgly, 100 points. Thank you guys very much for those applauses and those bits and everything.
It was so sweaty.
Yeah.
Any luck bricks.
It was
super sweaty. It was super. It was really good. Enjoyed the shit out of being on the show. Definitely want to do it again if
thank you.
Situation arises.
Hell yeah. You guys passed the test. You managed to get through an entire episode without saying anything that got me banned. So that's the thing I ask. Really,
nice.
Right?
That is why I was quiet half the time.
Practicals over there all like, don't say those words. Awesome. So let's see what we got for a raid tonight. For those of you who are here for our last raid, I apologize. Those guys didn't understand what a raid was, and they figured it out. I think one of their moderators didn't know what was going on, so they thought a raid was a bad thing. So yeah,
they're actually here. That was Nerd Cave Show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Nerd Cave Show. We raided them on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Sorry to freak you guys out, Nerd Cave Show, but we were just trying to show some support to the local talk show community.
Yeah, well, and I've always wondered why Twitch chose the word raid when raid usually has such a bad connotation, right?
Yeah.
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 We are the talk show captains now.
Like Blitzkrieg or something would have been way better.
Yeah. It's just like it could be like somebody's in somebody's coming over with a blitz or something like that, or
Yeah.
there's a bunch better words that they could have picked, but yeah. All right, let's go check the Twitch channels here and see who's doing what's going on. See if I got any buddies going on. Chat TV is playing Darksiders.
Oh, let's go to Chad. Chat is always good.
Yeah, Chat is awesome. So
Yeah,
we'll see
I'll call
Chat
him.
this time.
Bastard.
Excellent. All right, guys, we're out on the raid. We're on our way. Make sure to say hi to Chad when we get there. It's been a fantastic episode number 61. All of our guests
Thank you.
Yeah.
will
Thank
be
you.
returning in the future.
Yeah, we'll see.
We just got to figure out when the dates are. So,
And I've got a good conspiracy for you.
Definitely not next Thursday.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna be out on Thursday. Sorry.
Yeah, this show will
I'm-
not be
I'm good
airing
to go.
next Thursday.
I'll be here.
You know what?
Love you too,
Just
bitches.
in chat. Where's everybody?
All right, I'm gonna hit the stop streaming